Hey guys, welcome in. My name is Sam. This is Bolt from the Blue Tarot. I'm an intuitive reader and I channel messages for your highest good and the highest good of all. So I channeled some signs, simple symbols, synchronicities, things that might stand out to you that you've seen in the past couple of days or you might see in the next couple of days. Um, and if so, you may want to revisit this reading because they're a confirmation for you. So I saw a rainbow flag blowing in the wind, and it looked like a pretty sizable flag somewhere outside. I saw the cover page, like the book cover of an illustrated fairy tale picture book, and it was all sort of pale tans, browns, maybe pale yellows as well. It was all like a certain palette, and it had like an oval um, in the middle of the design of the front of the book. I just saw a lemon and I asked, what about the lemon? And then I saw someone laying out a pie lattice. So when I saw that, I had this really strong and long ringing in my left ear. Sometimes these are very brief, but this was very loud and very long. So this definitely is something that someone needs to pay attention to. I don't know if life is giving you lemons and you're making lemon meringue pie. That doesn't have a lattice though. I don't think. I don't know what it means, but I saw an elephant made out of Play-Doh, maybe mostly red Play-Doh. I saw a blue evil eye talisman followed by one green chili and one red chili arrayed over the top of a door, maybe, but sort of like a mustache kind of shape, sort of like that. And then an indoor swim park. So, like certain rec centers or whatever will have like this indoor area with like a wave pool or a lazy river, um, and maybe water slides and stuff. But at first I was like, oh, what fun! But I had this very eerie feeling. So if you're going to an indoor swim park, keep your the phrase that came to mind was keep your third eye peeled. For some reason, I feel like the evil eye talisman, the chili mustache, and the indoor swim park are connected somehow. So I don't know if it's like just keep an eye on mustachioed men at indoor swim parks. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Um, I saw a red horse mane, maybe flaming, like on fire. Like the Pokemon came to mind. I don't know if you guys know this Pokemon, but like Ponyta, Rapidos, Rapidash, those ones. Uh, and then I saw just like the pants, suspenders, and shoes of a very well-known cartoon mouse, um, and it wasn't animated like a cartoon. It was inanimate, is what I wrote down, from the waist down for some reason, like a stuffed toy maybe or something. And then a brightly colored pair of ski boots. No songs today, guys. Nothing to riff on there, but that's all right because we're gonna get you an animal card. See what energy we're working with today. Ooh, hippopotamus. Assertive, truthful, and managing your greatness. Look at that. Yeah, look at that hippopotamus looking at you while I find the page for this one. Hippopotamus. The card you have selected shows a hippopotamus at home in the green waters of Africa. When an animal as big as the hippo walks into your life, it is the second largest mammal on Earth. Your highest self is giving you a very clear message. It is insisting that you pay attention to your greatness. You have God given abilities. that have been played down most of your life for many different reasons. Now is the time to open your inner and outer eyes and see who you really, truly are. Whatever career you have chosen, you are much more influential than you realize. Hippo medicine is powerful. It brings together two realms, earth and water. This is exemplified in its physiology. The hippo's eyes and nostrils are at the very top of its head, allowing it the ability to submerge its body while still seeing what's happening on land. Symbolically, this helps you feel at home, both in the stable physical world and the instinctive emotional one. What this means is that you too can navigate the waters of emotion, intuition, and creativity while still functioning at your day job. Hippos can stay submerged in water for up to 5 minutes. Allow yourself to dive into your buried memories. You might just be more comfortable there than you realize. Like the hippo, you have an innate ability to know what lies beneath the surface of any situation. You see and speak the truth and demand that others respect that truth as well. Let the hippo reveal and heal any past traumas from this life or any previous ones. Let go and don't get caught up in what is no longer pertinent. Spherical, not linear thinking reminds you to not only think outside the box, but to realize there is no longer any box to think outside of. Once you grasp that, you will find yourself developing new ideas to dramatically change the world. Journey into deep waters with the hippo and make a big splash. You will be noticed. Some affirmations for hippo energy. I am here to be a strong and steady beacon for others. I am more powerful than I realize. I am a force to be reckoned with. Creative images and ideas are just under the surface, and I retrieve them with ease. I like this. I I like this because my associations with hippos are um, like with how ferocious they are. They're actually very, very powerful animals. But the card doesn't give that energy. And my feeling is that neither do you. Because I think of this kind of power as very like assertive, domineering, um, violent even. But that's not you at all. But you hold that sort of raw, natural power. And a lot of, my journey has been realizing that when we work through these traumas and hidden emotional um, issues that, you know, the baggage that we all carry into this life and through it, you get more and more powerful. And the work is difficult, but it's never as scary as you think. Like you're afraid to go beneath the waters, but you're the hippo. Even I feel like even the crocodiles are scared of you. you know, like there's some, I think it's a Terry Pratchett quote about like a witch should never fear walking through the forest, for she should know that she is the most terrifying thing beneath the trees in the forest at night. Like you're the scariest thing in the forest. Don't worry. And you use your power for good. So I'm not worried either. All right, so we got hippo energy going into this. I'm gonna pull some tarot cards and see what's going on for you guys. Hope you're having a wonderful week. Four of Pentacles. This is one of the least miserly looking Four of Pentacles to me. Knight of Wands. Temperance. Four of Cups. So right away, guys, I think there's there's some sort of caution or conservative in terms of resources, thinking or action going on here. Like there's a strong urge to consolidate resources or rush to pursue something for the resources it will bring rather than its intrinsic benefits or the growth that you will undergo by taking it on. And this is like a singular, headlong purpose that you may be driving towards. And this may be like, so this Temperance card, in the context of this reading, I see her just kind of being like, well, there's only, this so much water, and so I'm just going to move it from cup to cup, and I can't spill any because this is a precious resource. But she's also like standing in so much water. Like she's standing in abundance, but she might not be able to see it because of this focus. And this is classic Four of Cups. So this focus and drive towards, I really want to say, consolidation of resources, may be causing you to ignore a potential gift from the divine here, or an opportunity within this pursuit. It doesn't even have to be that like you're working so hard on consolidating these resources that you're completely ignoring something else. What this can be is, whatever you're doing to consolidate these resources, is also an opportunity. Like it has opportunities that branch off of it, or it's a growth opportunity for yourself spiritually, in your talents, in your abilities that you're not seeing. You may be like, instead of working on, like, this isn't a great example, but it's like you're trying to become a better business person rather, or no, sorry, other way around. So it's like you're trying to build a business modeled off of others, like other successful businesses, rather than working on becoming a successful business person, or going about it in your, like, bringing your uniqueness to, to the lemon pie recipe. um, there's a possible, like, there's an opportunity that you could miss. I don't think that you have missed it. It's being proffered and you maybe just don't see it right now. And I don't know that it's just going to poof go away, but it may just be like taking a more holistic view of whatever this aim, whatever you're doing right now to sort of meet a goal on paper, and seeing it more as like a broader set of goals about your own development, um, or your own growth. Because it shouldn't be just focused on building this thing, if that's what it is. It should also be, it should be whatever you guys want, but it can also be this opportunity for holistic growth of the human being, of the soul. You can take lessons learned, develop new skills. Like, yeah. I feel like it's going to be different for all of you, what this consolidation of resources, this drive to like grow or maintain or double down on your pentacles. So I'm not going to go into that, but I do want to know, like, I'm just curious about, because usually temperance is a good thing. It's usually about balance. So I kind of want to get into that a little bit. What is this temperance for you? Queen of Pentacles. So yeah, I think this is just reinforcing, like, this is a focus on money, or, you know, resources, materiality. Even something, potentially something egoic, but let's see. Eight of Cups. I like this Eight of Cups card. Whenever I see the Eight of Cups card, I always think, like, you've become the cup stacking champion, and now you move on to other pursuits. So yeah, you know, there may be something here about, like, you don't have to worry about this aspect of it because you've already worried about it so much. Like, you got this shiz on lock. Like, it's fine. It's gonna be fine. And you just need to take a broader perspective potentially. Curious what the Four of Cups, if we can get any clarification on that. Two of Swords. Ace of Cups. I mean, together these are the Four of Cups, right? Like, you're blindfolded, so you can't see this opportunity that is the Ace of Cups. But yeah, there's also an element of divine, like a divine gift for me with the Ace of Cups. So this is like a soul development gift. And that there's maybe also an emotional aspect to develop here. Like, you could be very focused on the physical and ignoring the emotional growth that could come from this, the emotional lessons. Not just what you're doing, but how you're viewing it, what the emotional experience internally is of it. This is also a card of meditation for me. My feeling is always like, I mean, she's not there by accident. She's the one holding the swords, you know? She's sat on this, like, she's on the pier with her swords. She knows what she's doing, is how I sometimes feel about the Two of Swords. So this could mean a couple of things. Either this is like an aspect to this you just haven't seen yet, or maybe this is an opportunity that will develop in the near future, and you just can't see it right now. It may also be that meditation will help you just to sit in, okay, never mind what I'm doing, how am I feeling about what I'm doing? What am I learning about myself? What am I seeing come up? But anyway, now we're getting into the advice, for which I have a deck of stories. So let's get you some advice for my assertive, truthful, and greatness realizing hippos. Some advice for this collective, please. Oh, we had this one yesterday. All right, so Clarice Starling at the Cell of Hannibal Lecter. Some advice for you here. So, I feel like people, with you being this gentle side of hippo energy, or coming across that way, people they might misunderstand you, they might underestimate you, they might take you for advantage, or, take advantage of you, or of your kindness, um, or just of your energy. So, this card is a reminder that silence preserves your energy and your life force. Like, we don't realize when we speak, especially when we speak to reinforce, justify, reassure other people, like that's energy that we're using, that we could be using um, to create something in co-creation with spirit, uh, like important life goals. So save your energy to the degree possible for these thoughts, ideas, these acts of compassion, acts of creation, um, that are intuitively directed by Source. Um, and this is a reminder, like the hippo doesn't mess around. The hippo doesn't care. Like it sees what's happening on land and it doesn't bat an eyelid. All those little birds land on it, it doesn't care. Like don't engage at all with people who are just trying to distract you, confuse you, diminish you, delay you. Um, and sometimes these can be these little material concerns, getting everything so organized and reorganized and pinpointed and perfected. Like this card encourages you not to engage with people's demons. Um, but what I'm getting from this is like, don't be careful about engaging with your own, because perfectionism is one of the most towering internal demons you can face, because it just makes so much sense. Like, why wouldn't you want to improve this process? Like, it's just so rational. But as a wise person once told me, the devil sounds rational, God sounds insane. Um, because one is reinforced by our society and um, lauded generally as good. The rational, the busy, right? Like just all of these little actions that add up and keep you tied up, and from connecting with the source of everything and doing like taking inspired action rather than checklist action. So I'm going to say for today, this piece of advice is about, yeah, don't delay starting something due to perfectionism. Um, Easier said than done, but uh, notice any anxiety when you're sitting in meditation about like, how am I feeling when I'm doing this pentacles consolidation activity. Notice if any anxiety comes up, um, because often that's just like trying to exert control where you can't. So consider, where you actually can control and where you cannot, and exert your efforts where you can. Um, yeah, I think for this reading, that's the interpretation of that card. See if I can't get you another piece of advice. Galadriel and Frodo at the Mirror of Galadriel. The Mirror of Galadriel is a basin of water um, that you scry into, basically, but it's magical. So it shows you um, the past, the present, and possible futures. So this card is just to tell you that the High Priestess has things to show you, um, to go within, to meditate, to do what you can to open up your third eye. Visualization meditations may be potentially very potent for you. And I think this is a reminder about divination in general. So when you're doing it for yourself, or you're listening to a tarot reading on YouTube or something like that, remember that if you see it lining up with you in a very particular fashion, remember that they're reading one possible future, if they're telling you the future, and that you have the ability to alter that future. Nothing is set in stone. Sometimes what we're shown is to caution us against the course of action that might result in that thing. In being complacent sometimes in a particular arena. So, as an example, I was going on a trip to Mexico, and before I went on this trip, I had planned to get around by bike a lot of the places I was going, and I would rent the bike when I got there. And I had this very vivid vision of me on a dirt road on this bike, like poorly paved road, and I hit a bump or something like that, and I crack two of my bottom teeth. And I know exactly which teeth they are, and I know basically what my surroundings look like. It was all very, very clear. But I spent, 11, 12 days in Mexico, and it never happened. But every time I rode a bike, I was a little bit more cautious than I otherwise would have been. I was not paranoid, but I was, not taking any risks either. I was careful about choosing the line along which I rode the bike. Um, Careful to stay on sidewalks when I could, where it was well paved. So, there's something there about, like, sometimes divination, if that's what you're doing for yourself, if you're watching a lot of tarot readings or whatever, remember that sometimes they are there to warn you about what could be if you are not more present. So, stay as present as you can. The past no longer exists. The future hasn't arrived yet. Just be here now, whenever you can, and to the degree that you can. Let's see what else from this card. Oh yeah, stay grounded in your purpose and discernment. This is an extra little tidbit, but if you're woken up in like the wee hours of the morning with an intuitive urge, definitely follow it. Like an idea or something, write it down, because that could be how you crack this as well. This is interesting advice. I feel like this is for someone very specific. If so, I hope that you received a useful message to you. Remember, this card is a reminder that your interpretation of it is what is the most useful part. What lesson do you take away from this story that I've told? And which parts do you want to hear? Which parts do you not want to hear? And why? That's something to sit with in meditation, because you will learn a lot about yourself, is how I'm feeling. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I just wanted to plug some of the other readers on YouTube. I've included them in the description box for this video. I just watched a couple of amazing readings today, and they included exactly what I needed to hear. And I don't mean like justification of a path that I know is incorrect for me, or like an ego boost. I mean, like, I think a really good reading gives you affirmation and explanation of what's happening. Like sometimes you feel like, am I crazy or is this really happening? And then you hear a reader say, hey, this is happening, like it's not made up. And it's so affirming. And sometimes you hear an explanation of what's going on that you could not have arrived at yourself with, like, just a completely different perspective. And you would never have had the data, like the information around you to understand it from that perspective. And that makes it so useful. But then also the advice and guidance that you get. Because I was reminded by someone that I was reading for that he was a former like professional poker player, and he was saying like, you know, I didn't think I believed in any of this, but this like I know that the odds of those particular cards coming out, I know that they are it's so outlandishly improbable that I know that this message is for me. And I just hope that you run into more messages like that, and that when you hear them, you really sit with them. Because Spirit chooses the most unusual messengers to send you the most peculiar messages. And sometimes it's exactly when you need to hear them. All right. Love you guys. Take good care.